Thanks, Eleni. Thank you, everyone. Very excited to be here. It's a very special topic for me. And, I was thinking the last couple of days on how I would start this discussion or even dig into what this title or this focus means to me. And I actually, this week, and I'm grabbing the link to this article in the New York Times that actually talked about, in my opinion, identity. And there's an interesting article that came out that kind of looked at the pretty much on the topic of systemic racism and how Black girls in school are probably the most disciplined compared to even Black boys, and of course to white females and males. And I read this article, and my experience doesn't touch on this level of I would say suppressed identity, but it does resonate with me. And within the article, I'll just say two lines that kind of I want to just shine light on. And someone was quoted, I forget the name of the person, but when we talk about racism, the person said we talk about it in terms of statistics and numbers, but we don't talk about what happens when you go into a school where nobody in that building believes in you or you believe in yourself. And I think that's the topic, or that's the line or quote I would say that really hits me, because to give you a little background about myself is both of my parents are from El Salvador. They came to this country, to the United States, when they were about 15, 16 to escape the Civil War. I'm first generation, and growing up, I grew up on Long Island. And during the time, my mom and dad made the decision that they wanted to raise me in a very predominant white neighborhood, just so I could have a chance to have, to excel in learning, and have a better future. So the experience that I felt that really shaped my identity was in first grade, and I won't go into too many details, but I just remember experience in first grade going to class because I was already establishing speaking both English and Spanish. And I just remember going to first grade, this first grade teacher pulling me aside, and I would tell her I need to go to the baño, which was I need to go to the bathroom. She came to me, she said, you can't speak Spanish in my class, you only can speak English. And then there was, my mom had to come in after school. And I just remember that the principal, my mom, this teacher, and myself were all sitting, and they pretty much laid out to my mom, your son has two options. He can only speak English in the school, or he could speak Spanish, but we're going to have to leave him behind a grade and send him to English as a second language. And from that moment, my mom made the decision to just only speak to me in English. And at such a young age, you kind of don't realize how much of a sponge your brain is at that time. And I started to form that identity because I didn't know any better, that I could only speak English and I could only adapt the culture of quote unquote being white and just try to fit in as much as possible and hide my heritage as being a Hispanic first generation male. And that's why this title is so important, or this focus today is so important to me, because I've been dealing with my own kind of healing of what, suppressing my Hispanic heritage all these years. Because growing up, I put shame towards my own culture. I remember that I would feel embarrassed for my grandpa to come pick me up after school because he was darker skinned, and all my friends, who were predominantly white, had white parents. So I created all these stories, all these stigmas around that I should just, as much as possible, hide that Hispanic, blood I have in me. And it wasn't until recent, the last couple of years, I would say, doing more self-development work with Melanie and therapy and just asking questions about why do I feel this way? Because right now I don't feel as I'm part of the Hispanic community. But those stories I created, I realized were just a way for my brain to protect me, because it felt at that time this is the only way to protect myself from any racism or things like that. And actually some kind of like a beautiful story has kind of opened up for me after I kind of dug into this healing. And the way this has affected me now is I'm trying to find different ways to accept my Hispanic identity. And by doing that, I've worked with my mom to open up a new business in El Salvador where we're doing a train tour. Our favorite things to do is to show people around. We're very engaging, we're very welcoming. So she's living in El Salvador right now, and we have this beautiful train tour called the Tortuga Feliz. And I'll add links to this after I'm done speaking. And recently, another very impactful way that I've been kind of accepting my Hispanic identity was developing a charity with my mom recently, where we started to feed families during COVID on just raising money here in the States, and my mom was the boss, running the program down in El Salvador, where we fed over 200 families. And moving forward, I actually talked to a friend last night, and we're like, why not we have a big toy drive in December for the kids in El Salvador? And I was like, great, let's do it. Let's make a deal. Let's try to raise $5,000. So I accept that I don't speak Spanish well. I accept I have an American accent when I do speak Spanish, but that doesn't define who I am. And working on this, and I think considering going forward, and what I kind of learned, or what I am learning, is that shame, whether felt through racism or even bullying at a young age, it's so strong. It's such a strong emotion that until now, I didn't realize unconsciously all the stories I put in front of me in order to protect me, or in order to like push down that heritage. And I guess just think moving forward into what I'm trying to set as an intention, especially for younger generation, is that I would like to express my stories, and give other people the space to kind of just look into themselves and what identity means to them, and how experiences in their lives have shaped themselves to what they think that the person they are today, and also what is there to uncover in that darkness and that wound and that shame that a lot of us just dig into, or just dig down, because what I'm realizing, there's a lot of beauty exposing those stories, because that's where your true beauty, your true passion, your true self is all hidden behind some of those wounds. And I guess that's the main point I kind of wanted people to hear from me, of what I've learned and things to consider going forward when we talk about this topic, is to give space to people to hear their stories, and see the beauty of just sharing and hearing, and all those good things that everyone has a story. So that's what I ask for everyone here.
Thank you, Louis. Louis, I'm going to ask you to expand just a little bit on some of the things that you've been doing as you have been embracing those suppressed facets of your identity, and tell us a little bit about the projects that you've done to embrace your heritage.
Yeah, so and I think, Melanie, you know best, because I always go to you to help. But it's like the project we're doing, like with this train, the Tortuga Feliz. And the reason why we call it Tortuga Feliz is that it's because like the turtle resembles what my mom and I kind of go about with life. And we may have a hard shell, and maybe quiet, maybe tough, but inside we try to lead with our heart. And the train tour resembles a way of just connecting to the beauty that's around this little town of just 20,000 people, but there's so much culture, history, and we wanted to find a way to give back to people. And I think connecting that mission, that statement, we're trying to expand the brand of our train. So to just dig a little bit deeper on the charity work, like each month, my mom and I decided to focus on a group of, I would say people who are in need, to give back. So this month we want to focus on the kids of the town who don't have much, and with Halloween we're trying to do a candy drive with them, and trying to find ways to use the profits to give back to the kids. Next month we'll be focusing on single moms, since that's just a big, there's a lot of that in Suchi. So it's my way of just accepting that whatever happened in the past is the past. And I've actually been privileged the way I've been growing up with the education, the job I have now, my network, and using that to my advantage to kind of show that I am connected to this Hispanic culture. I am Salvadorian. I have parents from El Salvador, and and that is my way of giving back and connecting to those people.
Thank you, Louis. And I imagine you'll drop in some links into the chat in case any of us want to get more information.
Yeah, I do that right now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Louis.
Thank you.